if you want to get on social media and tweet or post, the hashtag is going to be vote early for Democrats. So yesterday it was vote early for Kamala. We switch it up a little bit so that we have something fresh and new. Again, that's vote early for Democrats. Use it on Substack, Threads, Spoutable, in email, text a friend, tell people about it. Once again, like I said before, Demcast is our trusted partner, sharing it on social media. So let's get into what the Harris campaign's doing today. Because again, I want to make sure everybody knows and is aware of how big their ground game is and how small Trump's campaign actually is. So today, VP Harris will be in Michigan, where she is attending and delivering remarks at a Black church in Detroit. She's visiting local restaurants, a barbershop in Pontiac, Michigan, and holding a rally in East Lansing. Tim Walz has a huge day with Doug Emhoff. They'll be campaigning in Atlanta with a stop in Gwinnett County before joining a GOTV rally in Cobb County. And in the evening, Governor Walz will have an event in Charlotte, North Carolina. Emhoff is going to start his day off in Pennsylvania and Philly, and he'll be making remarks at a church service. And then Doug and Walz are going to team up for a GOTV rally in Georgia with musical performances by John Bon Jovi, The War and Treaty, and Michael Stipe from REM, who is from Georgia. Gwen Walz, the hidden rock star, will travel to Grand Rapids, Michigan to speak at Sunday church services, First Community AME church, and then she'll lead a canvas kickoff nearby. So let's break down real quick. Those are the main principles, but let's talk about who's going to be in each swing state for us today. In Arizona, Deb Haaland's going to be doing an event with Jonathan Nez in Dilcon and White River for Native Americans for Harris Walz GOTV event. Senator Kelly will be with Ted Lieu, both veterans, going for a Harris GOTV canvas launch in Phoenix. Ava Longoria, Gina Torres, Jordana Brewster, Jessica Alba, Liza Koshy, Rosario Dawson, Ruben Gallego, who's running for Senate there, Senator Mark Kelly, and Gabby Giffords will be in Phoenix for Latinos con Harris Walz GOTV block party. In Georgia, Anna Navarro is going to be throwing a block party. Jasmine Crockett's going to be there with local leaders to tailgate the Falcons versus Cowboys game, which is going to be interesting because I'm pretty sure Jasmine Crockett is a Cowboys fan. So some fun there. Former President Bill Clinton's going to be campaigning in Augusta as well. Gretchen Whitmer is taking over Michigan by storm, and she'll be in Novi and Detroit in her Get Out the Vote bus tour. Tennessee State Representative Justin Jones is repping us with Jackie Rosen in Nevada, and they'll be doing different church services and multiple canvas launches there. In North Carolina, Bill Clinton's also going to be traveling there today, going to Charlotte. Kerry Washington and Ariana DeBose will be in Charlotte and Greensboro launching canvases and also doing door knocking. Jim Clyburn's going to be in town, and he's going to be attending 3 different church services in both Goldsboro and Kinston, North Carolina. Then we head to Pennsylvania. First Lady Jill Biden is going to be in Springhouse, King of Prussia, and Harrisburg for campaign events. Governor Shapiro is going to be with Mayor Parker in Philly for an opportunity economy event. So I think that's more of a roundtable. AOC and local leaders are going to be doing a block party in Philadelphia. Former Attorney General Eric Holder and Scarlett Johansson are doing a Pittsburgh campaign event. John Legend's doing a GOTV event in Scranton. In Wisconsin, President Obama is going to be in Milwaukee for a GOTV rally. Dem Party chair, who's a rock star, love him, Ben Wickler, is going to be in Superior, Hudson, and La Crosse for canvas launches. Secretary of State Sarah Galuski, a good friend, she is going to be out there as well in Kenosha for a canvas launch. Congressman Mark Pocan is going to be Sauk County for canvas launch. Governor Evers is going to be Racine for a canvas launch. Marcia Fudge is going to be out there with Gwen Moore in Milwaukee for another canvas launch. They are focused on field, and they have the biggest ground game that I think has ever existed in the history of politics. We're talking about thousands of staffers that have been embedded on the ground for a very long time. We have people that are in hundreds of offices that are legit campaign offices, not just one person in a post where they're doing some field work. They have the best data collection that I've ever seen outside of Trump's maybe 2016 campaign, when he had a lot of help from different foreign sources and Paul Manafort, and getting it from, let's say, negative places. On Monday, now we don't have a bunch of information about this yet, and I think that's for good reason. There may be some surprises in store. Harris is going to be campaigning in Allentown, Pennsylvania, for a rally with Fat Joe and Frankie Negron. So it's going to be an interesting next 2 days. On Tuesday, I believe the VP is going to be back in D.C. Usually election days, you may go out to some places, but digital is going to be more effective than most anything else, doing some actions. If you didn't watch it yet, go and watch the SNL opening part last night. It was hilarious. She nailed it. They also did a TikTok together. It was kind of like I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it was funny, and it was a home run. I loved it. It was great. Trump won't have that opportunity to get on there, so we don't want him to be there anyways. Am I feeling optimistic? Yes, but I've been through this. This is my sixth presidential election cycle that I've worked, closely with campaigns, and I've never felt more optimistic, except for every other election cycle. No, except for 2012. 2012, that was kind of clear. That polls didn't say so, though. If you look back at the polling history, so stay away from polls. One thing I will admit, the Iowa poll, check it out. Like, that's the one poll I would say, take a look at that. That shows initial impressions about the Midwest, and it really does show some reality check of Kamala being 3 points ahead in what's thought to be a red state. I think there, and also Missouri and Florida, are kind of states that are going to surprise us. I think numbers in Texas are going to surprise us. I think they're wrong about all this talk about Trump being up in Arizona. Nevada, with the culinary workers endorsing Kamala so early, and they're doing so much work for her on the ground there. I just don't see that polling adding up there. Michigan and Wisconsin especially, it doesn't even make sense for Trump to campaign there at all. I'm not sure if he'll be back there. Pennsylvania, I think, is tight. It's just going to come down to like who's going to show up on election day. North Carolina, I think, is much worse for Trump than people think. I think that is more going to be along the lines of results in Virginia. People in North Carolina, I'm from North Carolina and Ohio, so I'm a swing state baby. Friends in North Carolina, families in North Carolina, people who had supported Trump before, none of them, not one. All right. And they're sick of his antics. They don't like his games anymore. They don't think it's funny anymore. So keep that in mind. In regards to North Carolina, I think things look good. Georgia, I think, is tight. I think it is tight. Again, it's going to depend on election day. But if we win, a little bit more than half of those states, then the game is over. We hope that it's a sweep, because then he can't announce. He'll try and announce victory anyways, but we do have a plan for that. So as we wrap up here, I'm going to take some other questions. So if you have any questions, shoot them in the comments there, and our production team will feed them to me if we have time for them. Mark, I am not getting sleep, but I am getting a lot of caffeine. I sometimes drink these V8 sparkling energy drinks, which are just terrible for you, I'm sure, but not as bad as coffee is. Drinking plenty of water, meditate, breathing techniques. I've been meditating for over a decade. It is a fantastic way to kind of settle your nerves, no matter who you are. And then, let me see, is Iowa polling indicative of the rest of the country? Yes and no. I think for the Midwest, it shows a shift to blue, more blue. I think a lot of that has to do with labor unions and the truth coming out. A lot of times, labor union leaders wouldn't overtly come out and call the opponent a scab, anti-union scab who hates workers, who treats workers like garbage and tells them to go to hell and things like that. So with leadership like that, that's presenting the real facts to people. He's never done anything for labor unions. He's never done anything to help them. And when you don't have people like leaders at the Teamsters talking about that and conveying the truth, and then you try and act like a poll with a very, very, very small minority of your workers represents everything, as if Trump got more votes from a couple thousand workers. That Trump campaign, right? They pushed this back of magazine. They pushed people to actually vote. The Harris and Biden people, like, they never pushed people to vote on this. So there was an effort by Trump to try and skew the results. At the same time, you saw a ton of workers in these swing states. I think in all the swing states, the individual unions, the Teamsters, did endorse her at the end of the day. But I think you'll see a shift in the reality check, because there's a lot of people wising up to the fact that he does not represent their interests. He's never done anything for unions, and he does not ever want to raise the minimum wage. He's pushed against that and made it fail before in regards to federal workers and other things. I see that Grant Stearns here. Check out his stuff. He is one of the people who helped me break the Russian business ties story in 2016. And he covered the initial facts about the denial when we uncovered the federal paperwork that proved that Trump denied Black people from housing, with putting racist remarks on each application sheet. He has uncovered, I want to say, hundreds of different things. A person who stood up literally when they came up with the bipartisan commission to investigate January 6th, Grant was on the ground in front of McCarthy, standing right in front of him at a press conference, had press credentials, got approved of everything, and asked him, when it was kind of his turn, asked him, why did you not approve of the bipartisan commission? And McCarthy puts his head down and just kind of looks down, and then Grant gets pulled out of there by police. Scary moment that everybody should look at. Physically hurt him, and he's a big guy. So this is a scary moment. That's DeSantis country. But luckily we have people who are heroes like that doing work who are fearless. He talked to him about his work against Walmart. He took on Walmart and won. Tell me other people who have done that. There's not many. Anyways, for those who missed it, we just launched a national Get Out the Vote effort. Tweet out "Vote Early for Democrats." That's the hashtag Vote Early for Democrats. Use it on Substack, X, Threads. Use it in email, text a friend, ask them to use it. Help us get out the vote today. You can check out also our Corporate Media Fails Election Edition, which is the last one for this election cycle, obviously. And I have to do this as well, which I don't like doing, but I have to. If you like our work, please become a paid subscriber. You'll help support our Press Watchdog Coalition, which launches on Wednesday of next week. We'll have a sign-up page with coalition leaders, which we have dozens of right now, and details after the election. We won't let Trump lie and act like he won on election night. All right, we're already going to be setting the stage for that tomorrow. We will not let him go out there and say, I won the election before the votes are counted, right? And then the press then preemptively saying, Trump claims victory. And those headlines have spread that big lie part two. We're not going to do that. We're not going to play these games. All right. It's on us to stop that from happening. So we have to preempt that by getting pledges from individual journalists to not do that, and from publications. They don't have to do it publicly, but we do have to make sure that the messaging is there so that they know not to do it. So we call them out before it happens and say, do not take this route. And we're going to do that tomorrow. So just FYI, we'll remind them again on Tuesday. Obviously, we want to focus on votes and elections. A lot of early voting continues through till Election Day on Tuesday. So we're going to make sure that we do everything we can our focus is still on the election. But don't be fearful of his announcement or whatever gibberish he's going to say. We're on it. The campaign is on it. They have legal briefs and things ready, prepared to go, already drafted. They are ready from every corner, every angle. So just don't be concerned about that either. And one more thing, people may try and belittle things that you do online. In 2020, all we had was online. All we had was online activism and spreading things online, making sure that we shared things online and talked about things online. What you do online matters. Everything you do online matters. So if you talk about something and you spread it with your friends, and somebody wants to troll you and say, you're wasting your time here, blah, 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 ignore that. What you do matters. It spreads. A lot of you, I spread your message, and that gets it to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, those that share on X and whatnot. What you're doing makes a difference. Don't let anybody tell you differently from that. So I wanted to make sure you knew that. If you, last thing here, restack and like this post, because sometimes people get excited and forget to do that. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to look here. Dr. Stephanie Lovely is on here. She has a new post about Kamala, which is really interesting. It compares the previous history on how Trump is not really unique in regards to wanting to be a dictator in the history of who our presidents have been. But who's really unique is Kamala and the positivity around Kamala. So keep that in mind. That's a great post to check out. Check out Jacob Redmond, who he's on I think he joined as well. And then let me see, what power does Biden have to ensure the election certification is carried out properly? He has the power of the federal government, okay? And he has the best staff that could be assembled. Trump was in charge of the federal government, and we beat him in 2020. Don't forget that. That is life-changing, okay? You want me to call, someone who's a prosecutor in a certain section of the United States and ask them, like, are you going to be going after these individuals doing these illegal acts? These people will return calls. Trump's people didn't return calls, or they threatened me or friends. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a different world. It's a completely different world. So I'm excited as to where we go from here. Don't forget to tweet out the hashtag as well. Thank you for listening. Really appreciate you. Keep on moving forward. Ignore the noise. Keep on pushing Kamala, and go out there and tweet and post as much as you can. All right, until your fingers hurt. Not if you have arthritis, but if you do what you can, and take breaks and let's finish strong. I think we have the numbers. If we run through the finish line, we're going to win. But we have to do the work, and we have to keep on going. All right. Thanks so much for all your support. I appreciate y'all. Take care, and I will be doing this again tomorrow. And thanks to, I guess, lots of demands, I will be joining you on election night to talk about returns live as well. I know that a lot of people were going to be worried about that. So that's where I'm going to definitely be online to talk everybody through that, go through the numbers, and see where we go from there. So thank you so much. Let's finish strong. Onward.